Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Thursday Thoughts. It's Des here. Of course, back with the live question and answers episode, looking to pass on information about the things you've asked me this week and hopefully create some interaction and some conversation around all the things that I'm up to. Of course, DOdaily is my daily vlog where I just pass on how I'm getting along, hopefully trying to inspire and motivate people along the way to do the things they enjoy, but also to tackle anything that's upsetting us, interrupting us as we go. I've been in a place over the last couple of weeks of trying to get back to routines and create the habits that worked so well for me in the past, particularly when I started doing DOdaily over 2 years ago now. It's been a little bit indifferent, busy with all the exciting things that happened over the summer and the wedding, and then just one or two slight disappointments since it just knocked me off track. But all of a sudden, as I always like to do on a Thursday, I'll check in. All of a sudden, I'm feeling really, really good about the things I do. Just been out for a run, got my quickest 5K for a very, very long time. So that's showing some progress in that sense. Of course, I love my activity. I talk about it so much on DOdaily, try and encourage people to get involved in that. So when I can go out, take part in a coaching session that I run here in Nottingham, almost in line with DOdaily, trying to work on targets, goals, positive things that we can do to improve ourselves. And when I can take part, it's even better. I get so much from it anyway, take so much pride in what the guys do. But getting out there tonight, seeing some results after 2 weeks of hard running, not the quickest, not the best performance I've ever put in, but it's been hard running, getting back to it and starting to really, really enjoy it again. Like I say, that time, sub 30, just a small goal. I was probably expecting to take a good couple of weeks, but it's getting out with the guys and pushing hard and working off my own sessions I create. It just proves that results can come if I put the work in, and it's starting to show through. So that's made me feel really positive. I got home and the dog was all over me. He was enjoying the sweat, licking my hair. I put a picture on my own social media of that. That was particularly fun and enjoyable, even though he was a bit mean. But that's the dog, I guess. That's puppies. He was just glad to see me. So that's made me feel great as well. All these sort of small wins adding up to sort of fend off any of that negativity that's been created by some of the things I've kind of nearly touched on before. So feeling fantastic. Always tend to check in at this point, check in every day, but start almost summarising how things have been over the week. And it's just been a good one, just working at the things I do. Again, without anything too exciting happening, I probably don't need that. I had an exciting opportunity and it didn't quite work out. So probably just need a little bit of stability, a little bit of routine and habit, like I said before, just to keep me smiling, keep me positive and keep me reaching for that next big high. I understand these days it's not always forthcoming. You have to work hard at these things, and that's what I'm doing right now. So with a little bit of effort over the last couple of weeks, being able to stay true to myself, that was important, and make a big decision, and then true to myself in terms of the things I want to do, and almost feel like I'm setting an example again. When I'm setting an example, the guys at the coaching are like, oh my God, he's back. He's pushing us harder and much more than before. And it's important for me to do that as well, because it gives me the confidence to feel like I'm not forward, and also on DOdaily, I put things out there to make myself accountable. And for as much as it worked at the start, over those first couple of years, the last few months have been tricky. So I just want to get back to being that person that is backing up my words with actions and doing the things I say I'm going to do, because that's so important as well, isn't it? When we put something out there because we want to make ourselves accountable, the last thing we want to do is not do it. And it's just been a case of just doing it for me, just doing the things I enjoy and really getting involved again and pushing things forward. I mentioned over the last couple of days about taking things one day at a time when things aren't fantastic. But the more I tend to be doing, the more I'm looking forward to things. And that's a place we want to get to, almost naturally put myself in a kind of comfort zone. It's important to keep pushing outside it. Even the session tonight, I got the guys running in the dark, and some of them weren't particularly at ease with it. Of course, I was mindful of their concerns, but again, just getting us out there in the cold and dark and giving it a go is important. And for me, it's always about getting out of my comfort zone. That's what I do on a Thursday. Not comfortable doing a live episode. I'm not perfect at doing the pre-recorded ones, so the live ones get me really out of my zone and make me feel really good about what I'm doing afterwards. It's not always easy whilst I'm doing it. What I will say before I get into the crux of what Thursday's all about, the throwbacks and the questions and this week's throwback, if you could give a thumbs up to this episode, I'd be extremely grateful. And again, any support would just make me feel that little bit better. I do this for a reason, to try and help and support people. But of course, it helps me as well. It helps process. And if I can build the channel, that would be absolutely amazing. If you want to get in touch, of course, please drop us a comment. And any of that social media scrolling across the bottom, get in touch via any of that. There'll be an email address at the end as well. For whatever you've got on your mind, whether you're pleased with what you're doing, whether you've got questions about some of the more difficult, uncomfortable stuff I talk about, or you just got questions you want me to answer next week, anything you want to talk about, you can come in, get involved. If you've got a burning issue, we can build an episode around it. I'd love to get your feedback and your thoughts on what I'm trying to do here on DOdaily. Again, I'm not putting myself down, but it doesn't come naturally, but I'm just always trying to get myself to a point where I'm a little bit more confident, feel a little bit better about myself. And if I can support and encourage others, and if I can do whatever I can, it's a great way of sort of paying it forward in that sense. So really, really pleased. Dawn's got in touch straight away. You must be buzzing after your 5K run tonight. Absolutely. I ran 5K last night and it felt good, doing it. It was still slightly quicker than I had been doing it, but taking a good minute and a half off last night's time feels absolutely amazing. And again, it's not all about times with the running and things like that. It's the small things that are happening along the way, the progress, and that's what's really important. Most of the things I talk about are about progress rather than results, but results are a great way of showing it as well, aren't they? So really do feel good. Really looking forward to having a rest day tomorrow now. It's been a week of good running for myself. Tuesday night I went out and did a slow plod around Nottingham with a friend, showing him some sights. 7 miles. Last night a hilly 5K, which I found quite tough in the cold and rain. And then tonight, getting out there and giving it a real go for the first time in a while. So all those small little things, whilst it is all about running in that sense, they're the small things that are happening to me along the way. Even the things like the dog, show me some affection. He still wants to bite my fingers off. He still wants to bite my ears. But, it was just amazing to come home and have 5 minutes before coming on tonight. And they're the things we kind of live for, aren't they? We can't have it sort of euphoric all the time. It's those little things that are important, and they put a smile on my face. So yeah, feeling really good. Just mention, if you could give this episode a thumbs up, that would be absolutely brilliant. If you could subscribe to the channel if you don't already. It built a lot earlier in the year. It's just slowed down a little bit. I'd love to sort of start pushing up towards 1,000. I've got 709, but it flips between 10, 11, 9, 8, whatever. It is what it is in that sense as well. Whilst it's great to get subscribers, I'm just going to keep persevering for the reasons I do it. It's a little bit of a passion now that I want to support and encourage others. But again, like I say, I find a way of trying to sort of feel more confident and better within myself through it as well. So there's definitely a reason to keep going, but the support is always great. And if I can get up towards 1,000, there's just one or two different things I can do with it, and try and make a little bit more of what I do and make it that little bit more worthwhile. So that'd be great if people can subscribe. I set myself a little target earlier in the year of trying to get 500, and by the end of the year, and I surpassed that massively by getting 700. So if I can start pushing on again as we push through, it'd be amazing to get to see where we're at come New Year's Eve when I was only on 200 last year. So that's an amazing sort of feat so far. But as I keep reiterating, that the support's fantastic as well. Of course, Thursdays are all about the questions and the throwback and trying to inspire people slightly with my thoughts. No, I'm not saying it always works, but sometimes something you read from someone else or something you hear or one of the comments that have been made from the guys might just spark your mind into action. Last week, we asked that throwback, what is your favourite saying or mantra? I was talking about never missing a Monday, again, at the point where I was trying to get back into activity. One of the cliche sayings I always believe in is never miss a Monday, but it's worked for me. Spoke about it over the last couple of weeks. It's really got me going, and I'm at this point now where I'm absolutely buzzing with my activity. So I've inspired myself, by just keep telling myself that. Brainwash maybe, but if that's the way it works, that's really important. And that's why we asked that question, because I was trying to get into those routines and I was hoping it would have this effect, and it definitely has. So got a couple of responses to this. Kay says, my favorite saying is the best is yet to come, because you can apply it to any situation, good or bad. Of course, that's a great one. She's definitely right there, isn't she? The best is yet to come. And I tend to work a little bit to that. With my running in particular, I always think, I always went of the mindset that I run when I feel bad and I run when I feel good. It's similar to what Kay's saying there. When I feel good, to make me feel even better. When I feel bad, to get me out of a bit of a slump. I mentioned on DOdaily last night about the drug and the endorphins and everything it does for me to get me back in a good place. And I think you can see that enthusiasm now. And again, just to sort of go back to what Kay's saying there, the best is yet to come. We've always got a chance, haven't we? It's never too late to do anything, and to get enjoyment from something. And that's definitely something I learned, getting into running a bit later than most people. I wasn't too old, 7 years I've been running now. I started when I was 35, and in many ways I wish I'd have done it a lot sooner, but it's one of those things, isn't it? And when you get it and you get so much from it and you understand why you get so much from it, it's absolutely fantastic. So again, it's never too late to do anything, just like Kay saying there, the best is yet to come. Philip says, mine is simple. You can do it if you put your mind to it. Along the same lines, isn't it? Because anything you want to do, you will do your absolute best at. It's, again, I'll make reference to the running and the fact that tonight I wanted to go out there and I wanted to make progress. I've been talking, it dawned on me that my last 5 park runs have been slightly quicker each time. So today and yesterday I was talking amongst friends. It was something I wasn't aware of until I looked at some stats. But my last 5 park runs have been quicker. And then I start talking about being quicker again. And all of a sudden I've gone a lot quicker. So again, I've probably inspired myself there, to sort of put my mind to it and just go for it rather than worry about what might not happen. The slogan I'm using for this month's coaching here in Nottingham, the running bootcamp type things we do, what I mentioned at the start of the episode, is non-stop November. Of course, at the time of the year when it's sometimes towards the end of anything, it's easy to give up. So there is reasons behind these kind of things, and it's non-stop November just to get everybody thinking that we've got to keep pushing on. But I also gave it a little silver heading when I was trying to motivate the guys before the session. There was a little bit flat, if I'm honest. Some of them would be watching, and there was a little bit flat. And I was saying, let's find a reason to run. Just again, along that, you can do it if you put your mind to it. Find a reason to run, not a reason not to. That's what they sign up to. That's what they want to be part of. But again, it's not easy when it's cold and dark and wet and you've not been for a while. It's not easy to get out there. But after the session, when I'd give them that reason to run, when they were enjoying what they was doing, there was a real buzz about the year. And again, I got immense satisfaction from that. Really enjoyed seeing that, and of course my own personal achievements made it feel amazing. But just to see the group So again, along sort of Philip's lines, you can do if you put your mind to it, and that's all I'm encouraging the guys to do here as well. That's all I'm doing through DOdaily. Try and put my mind to it. Self-improvement, fitness, whatever it is at that particular time, I'm just taking it from there. Louise says, I love the saying, live the life you love. Again, I don't think I need to explain this through all the things I do. I'm not always, it doesn't always get accepted, some of the things I do. When I started running, people around me weren't runners, and there wasn't, people would question it and probably think he'd stop doing it sooner or later. And when I did DOdaily, people mock it a little bit. And some of the things I do around football, where I do my football content, I touched on this on an episode perhaps earlier in the week or late last week, where people almost scoff at some of these things and question, because you're not perfect. I know I'm not perfect at DOdaily. I know I'm not perfect with the football content I put on Twitter, but I'm doing it because I love it, and nobody, when you really love something and when you really enjoy it, nobody can knock you off your perch. So again, I'm just living the life I love. And I keep referring back to this situation where I got an opportunity to do something and really push on. It didn't quite work out. It wasn't right for me, was it, in the end? It wasn't right for the situation I'm in, because it just wasn't great for all the other things I do as well. And I need them in my life. That's what's got me to such a positive place now. Just on the, I don't like mentioning the negatives, but just on the other side of it, Dawn says she hates the word grow old gracefully. Again, it's not that much of a negative, because I see where she's coming from. We can just enjoy it, can't we? We don't have to be graceful in these things. Enjoy life. Do what you want to do. That's all I'm doing. Let's not live to conformity and everything that everybody expects of us. It's just what I was saying there, isn't it? In the sense that do what you want, and when people question it and mock it, it tends to be a bit of a compliment now. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being silly about it, but I tend to feel a bit sort of like, I'm going to do it. If I'm affecting you that much, then obviously it's working to some degree. But no, it's definitely not in an arrogant way. But it just pushes, it motivates me a bit more, gets me going, gets me thinking, and really wanting to push on again and just be a little bit better with anything I'm doing, whether it's the content, whether it's DOdaily, whether it's the running, whether it's work or individual relationships or whatever. It's just about trying to be that little bit better. I appreciate those responses. Of course, I always say about the throwback, it's there's no right or wrong answers. It's just a way of trying to sort of use things that worked. I stumbled across Never Miss a Monday. I'd never seen it before I started running. And I wondered what this means, and I thought it was rubbish, to be honest. Most of these things are, but I must admit, the more I sort of get into this development thing, I look at these sort of, what would you call them, tiled Instagram quotes, and they mean something, and it's whatever it means to you, isn't it? And that's what's important. I've said it throughout this episode already. Do what you want to do. Most people in those comments have said it, and again, that's the kind of people we need behind us and to surround ourselves with. So I appreciate all that feedback. Of course, if you've got anything to add, please drop it in the comments. Really appreciate that. And give that episode a thumbs up if you've not done it yet. Where is it, Dan? This way, maybe? Down here. Just give it a thumbs up. Take you less than a second. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. So, of course, first is all about the questions. Got a different set tonight. Whilst I've been talking about my personal running and things like that, and we often get a lot of running questions, there's one in there, but there's generally a good mix. Really looking forward to getting stuck in and letting you know my thoughts on these. So question number one from Stacey: will you be watching any fireworks this weekend? I'm not entirely sure is the answer. I do enjoy myself and Kay probably a little bit more than me, enjoy fireworks display where we live, just on the River Trent. In the summer, they have a big festival and a huge display. We went out to watch that a few weeks ago. The reason I'm not so sure now, I've been to sort of bonfire displays and parties in the past, and it's something I like, to be honest. I like the whole the things you get to eat, the sweets and things like that around it, and on the cold nights, and you're all surrounded by fire. The reason I'm not so sure this year is because of the dog, in all reality. Kay's out on Friday night, so I'll be looking after the puppy, and of course the fireworks don't always sit well with the dog, so I'll be about to look after him. And then on Saturday night we'll probably be doing the same, because he's still very, very young, so we just got to look after him and make sure he's all right with it. The last thing we want is him to be upset with the fireworks and on his own. So I think you'll probably understand that. But I've got nothing against fireworks and firework displays. Of course, now we've got a dog. Now I'm becoming a dog person. I definitely am. I absolutely love him to bits. But yeah, we've just got to look after him. But I've got nothing against other people enjoying it in that sense. If you're going to a display yourself, let me know and post some pictures. That'd be amazing as well. I'd love to see that. Tag us in on hashtag Thursday Thoughts DOdaily and DOdaily itself at DOdaily 2020. I'd love to see them and share them on the story. So if you've got any of those, or you're going to a display, please drop it in the comments. And thanks for the question. Enjoy it if you are. Question number 2. This stems from a comment made on a video this week. It's from Leon. How do you choose which park run you're going to do each week? There's various ways, to be honest. If we've got something on, everybody's got a home park run. Really enjoy going to Colic Park. That's my home park run here in Nottingham. It's somewhere where I enjoy, without a park run, I enjoy walking around it. It's the first place where I stumbled across park run, so always becomes your home park run. I've done it about half of the times I've done park run. I'm nearly up to 150. So it's always the go-to place, and sometimes we just say we'll go there because it's our own park run, and I really, really enjoy it. But of course, I do a lot of park run tourism. I've got that vlog going in terms of the Project Park Run PB. Definitely be looking to get back to that sooner rather than later, where I've highlighted my progress and my ups and downs so far. There's not been much progress, probably gone backwards. But again, I'm starting to show signs of improvement. So it might be worth picking that vlog up again and just showing where I go. As much as it's about my Project Park Run PB, it's about trying to inspire people to get to different places, get from park run what I get from it. I love the tourism. We drive out to local park runs. We jump on trains and then get off and run to the park run. And of course, when I go to football matches or I go away to London for whatever reason, I try and fit one in. So there's some of the reasons. Football might be, if Forest are playing, I might pick a park run close by to that and then stick around and have breakfast and go to the game. If I've got something to do in London, I love getting a London park run in. I've probably done about 10 or 11 now. And I mentioned why I go to Colic and why I do my home park run quite a lot. But this weekend, I'm actually going to Lichfield, which is not somewhere I know particularly well. It's on the A38, about 40 minutes away. Somebody at the running club just mentioned that they'd like to join us, and they're out that way. So, of course, trying to get to different ones, thinking about this vlog, how I could sort of keep myself motivated to keep getting up and getting these different ones in. It becomes a bit of an adventure. So getting to different ones and trying to tick them off and using the 5K run app, is always a great way of completing a challenge or something like that. I have got one particular challenge I'm working at on park run, and that's to complete all the East Midlands park runs. I'm getting there with it. I think I know now there's 47 and I've done 36 in the East Midlands, and they call it a Regionaire. And I'm not sort of hell bent on these things. I don't chase it every week, but it's a great thing just to sort of keep me thinking about places I could go. They're actually now quite far away, the ones I haven't been to. On this 5K app, it tells you where your nearest park run is. It's called a Nendy, nearest. I'm not sure what it means. somewhat in distance. It's your part one anyway. My nearest is 50 kilometers away, so that just shows when I'm looking for a new place to visit, I've got to travel that little bit further. But one way of deciding where you could go could be to follow that. You know, if your nearest is 4K away, go to that one, and then if you want somewhere different, go to the next one until the point where you're fed up with that or you got something else to do. That's one way of just following it. I know somebody, I work with somebody who's trying to complete the alphabet of part ones. Last week, they jumped on a train and went down to London and did Victoria Docks because they needed a V. You know, and there's all sorts of different things to try and motivate. And my biggest one, of course, is the vlog and trying to find a way to show what I'm doing, but almost relate it into everything as well. So if you go and check out that Project Part 1 too many P's there, that Project Part 1 PB vlog, you'll see that there's lots of London ones, you know, because I've tied them in with trips, but there's others, and I explain all the reasons of why we're in particular places. Normally because someone suggested it. In a few weeks, whilst I've done it, I'll be going up to Clumber Park, which again is a good distance in Nottingham. It's right up in North Notts, and I'm right down in South Notts. But it's a good distance. But Kay's brother is doing his first ever park run, so it's a reason for us to take a little bit of a trip out. In a few weeks, we're going to Market Harbour, because once we went there and it was absolutely teaming it down with rain, and they cancelled the part one, and that's been a while now since we've got back, but it's always been a little thing to get Market Harbour ticked off, and of course that's another East Midlands one as well, isn't it? So it just bumps me up another number. What I will say about that challenge, yesterday I was really happy because I realised that Cleethorpes is no longer in the East Midlands, so I thought I'd got one less to do, and then I realised there was 3 others, one in Gloucester, one near Peterborough, right in the south of Lincolnshire, and another one somewhere else, and I was like, oh my God, I've got even more than I thought I'd got. But I'll keep working away at that. It's all good fun. Like I say, check out that Project Part 1 PB vlog. If you're looking for a little bit of inspiration or ideas as to why you should go to somewhere different, you know, there's plenty of reasons in that. And they come out really well. People really enjoy the vlogs. To go down, I should do more of them, really. And now my running's really picked up. I definitely will be. As you can see, they love talking about part 1 and running. So that's a great question, Leon. I appreciate your support on that one. Ian's made a comment. One of my favourite ones was on the way to Everton away. We decided which part 1 we would do on the M6 on the Saturday morning. Again, just one of those things. Myself and Ian went up to Northwich part 1. It was a great place to visit. It was a really nice country park. We weren't expecting much, and like he said, we didn't even make a decision until about 20 minutes before, but we went and did it and got so much from it again, you know, just spontaneous. And again, with part 1, you can be that sometimes. Kay's just picking me up on what I said there about Nandy. Nearest event not done yet. That's what it means. So look that up on the 5K Run app. It's a free app, but again, it's great for motivating you to try something different and to look at different places. So it's got so many stats in, and as runners, you know, we're full of stats and we love ticking things off based on numbers. It doesn't really matter in the end, but that's just the way we are. But no, great question. Really, really appreciate that, and really, really appreciate the support. If you've got anything to add about part 1, please drop it in the questions. Question from Jan, question 3. Love seeing Stanley progressing with his training. If you could teach him to do anything, what would it be? Oh, there's lots of things at the moment, Jan, to be honest. There's so many. One of the reasons I'm really enjoying him at the moment, I've been taking him out on his walks this week and taking him off his lead. And he's so good. He's so good at walking next to me, training him next to the road as well. And he's so good at sitting down. For a lot of other things he's not good at just yet, like the biting, like the weeing and pooing on the carpet still, which he's not perfect at. But he's getting there. But for all the things he's not fantastic at, taking him out down by the river, he doesn't run away. But when he is a little bit distance away from me and I shout him and he comes running over, it feels absolutely amazing. It feels like, you know, he belongs to me. And of course, with him being new and not really being a dog person before, it's a fantastic experience watching him develop in that sense. So really, really enjoying that. What I would like him to do is lots of things. Some of those, what he's still doing, I'd like him not to do. I'd like him not to steal my phone and the remote control, because they're the two things I kind of live for in the evening. He has got a habit of barking at us late at night and wants us to play when we're trying to sleep. But again, it's all progress, isn't it? I just love him to sort of just settle down a bit. I love the affection. Like I said, I mentioned right at the start, when I come in today, he's all over me, licking my sweat, and it was all a bit minging, but it felt nice as well. He was pleased to see me, and I gave him his dinner, and he was even more pleased to see me. So just want him to just not steal my phone. That's the big thing. But it's all good fun as well when you try chasing him around the living room, trying to get it back. Although if he eats it, I won't be best pleased. So just want to see him keep doing what he's doing and just keep enjoying him being a puppy. That's the real big thing. Dawn says here, fetch you a dark fruits from the fridge. That'll be a good one. But I think he'd probably put his little baby teeth through it at the moment. They're still sharp. I can't wait till those fall out. I can't train him to do that, but I can't wait till that happens, because I've got cuts all over my hands where he's nipping into me. But yeah, dark fruits from the fridge will be a good one. But I've just settled at the moment for him not stealing the remote control, because that's my possession when we're in the house, not his. But no, absolutely loving him. Great questions here. Love those. All light-hearted stuff. I say it every week. If you've got any questions to add, please email Des@DoRunning. If you've got anything serious, of course, throughout the week, I talk about my ups and downs, my mental health, what's upsetting me, what's making me feel good. So if there's anything serious to ask, lots of people do email me sort of day in, day out, asking different things and telling me their situation, and it creates conversation and communication, and it helps people feel better. Again, I absolutely love that kind of feedback when people say it's helped, because that's what I'm trying to do ultimately. So if you want to get in touch, please email des@dorunning.org.uk. If you've got anything you want me to answer anonymously, it does happen where people don't want to put the name to it because they feel a bit uncomfortable. Whilst, of course, I'm getting out of my comfort zone, I don't encourage anyone else to do that. All the examples I use and the reason I do this is not to be self-indulgent. It's just to be myself and explain how the way things work. I don't have to explain, of course. I don't have to do anything, but because I enjoy sort of helping people and supporting people, I think that's great. Got a comment here from Kay. Evening, Des. How's your day been? Fantastic. Look back at the start of the episode. Really buzzing for getting out for a run. Feel fantastic for what I've been doing, and of course, I think that's showing in the enthusiasm I've got on here tonight. Always talk about this throwback and always encourage you to get involved and drop us a comment, whether you're watching live or after the show. It's brilliant to get some responses. All I'm looking to do is get people thinking and interacting and talking, and perhaps showing others that there's no wrong answer, there's no wrong thing to do. We all do different things. What's your party trick? It was the reason I guess this has come up is it was Halloween, wasn't it? Trick or treat. Probably could have done a little bit more on DOdaily around that, but I didn't. Obviously busy with other things and ploughing on and getting this running in. But what's your party trick? It can be anything. You might do something daft with your eyelids. I don't know. I'm making them up now because I've not even thought about the answer myself. I will answer it next week. But in the meantime, if you could answer it, I'll be extremely grateful. Like I say, on the comments live or after the show, and or any of the videos throughout the week, along with your questions, I'd love to get those in. Or, like I say, use that email address. That'd be absolutely fantastic to hear. Again, there's no wrong answers, so do get involved and please try and support the channel if you can. That would be absolutely fantastic. Further to that, I'll be up. I keep saying it at the moment. I keep thinking I'll be up bright and early. Summer's gone, hasn't it? If there was ever an evidence that summer's gone, tonight was it. We was all stood there absolutely freezing. Hence some of that silence and that negativity before we got that running group going. But as soon as we got going, it was fine. So I'll be up early. wake up to walk. Kay's got a little bit of work to do. She's part of the session but couldn't do it for her commitments to brownies. So she'll be taking part in the time trial that the rest of us did tonight. I'll probably have Stan with me and I'll be walking about the river, reflecting on the week. It's been a good one. It's been positive. I'm really sort of buzzing, looking forward to the weekend. Probably a quieter weekend as well. Looking forward to that whilst Forest play at home, and I'll be doing that and my part one, as I mentioned. Other than that, it'll be looking after the puppy, some time at home. And it's that time of year, isn't it? When the weather's gone really cold, where time at home is important as well. So finding the positives like that, sometimes we can get a bit fed up with the dark and the cold, but it's a little bit too early for that. For me, it's about sort of bedding in, the warm, the stews, the chilies, the nice warm meals, and having a night in. So looking forward to that kind of weekend. But I'll have more about that and why I've been doing the things I've been doing this week, and almost theming it the way in my head without putting a theme to it. Of course, my conversations tend to flow from one day to the other. So I'll be reflecting on that, probably out and about, probably local again, because it's so dark in the morning and I haven't got much time before I have to be off doing all the other things I have to do. So I'll be explaining all that, enjoying the outdoors, attacking the day, and hopefully still feeling fantastic. Once again, thank you to everybody that's tuned in. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It takes no effort whatsoever, but it helps me massively. It shares this thing around the internet. Hopefully encourages one or two people to check in. If you're not sure what this is all about, it's just a routine daily vlog where I'm just chatting away, babbling on about this, that, and the other. Nothing too important. Sometimes it is important. Sometimes it's an important message. But it's important for me to do for all the reasons I mentioned throughout the show. Really, really enjoyed it. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the comment, Dawn. Great episode tonight. We'll be back at everything we do in the morning, giving it a good start. Until then, just doing it.